Yeah, man. And we are live. Okay, get my microphone just right. Live check. Okay, we good. Man, just shut up. When it come down to it, like I say, I do my videos. Um, talk to the men, talk to the women. I still ain't did my part two for the men on another video I did about the women. But if you don't know nothing, man, just shut up. When it comes to a lot of guys that want to kind of dominate the conversation, you know, put their 2 cent in, give their, um, I guess, verse, they multifaceted of knowledge and, just shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. You know, and this whole thing of shaming, yeah, it needs to come back. It needs to come back on a major scale. Pop my camera. I'm actually driving, so I can check out the scenic route. But yeah, just shut up. I mean, there's a lot of dudes that come in this space. And shout out to Art Nostal, you know, the YouTube Scholar Award. You know, Art man been killing them, lately with the, politics, the verses and everything. He got his own little verses gig going on over there, and YouTube Scholar, man. Those guys know everything off of YouTube. Ain't took the time and research and did it for yourself. Check some stats, made sure nobody wasn't lying. They were just giving you, documents. I mean, just false information and with some documents that somebody told them about, you know. And the whole thing to, not just look at one article and say, oh man, it's the truth. See who wrote that article. How credible is that source? Or, just in general, and just in general, man, just kind of figuring things out. This cup, oh, this cup. But man, I don't get it. As men, you should hold yourself to a standard in which you want people to look at you as not just being a dummy, an airhead, just to be saying stuff, just to hold a conversation, even get in the conversation. You know, trying to be versed in something you don't know. I know a little bit about politics, but when guys start, breaking that down, I kind of ease back out the scene. My thing is, if I'm not that versed in something to where, you know, I can hold a conversation easily. But the point of it is, when it comes down to it, is certain things I don't know. The best thing for me to do, sit back and listen. A lot of guys don't want to do that. You know, even with the situation, I talked to my friend and we were talking about how, you know, no one never taught us about, finance, savings, stock, things of that nature. And I told him, I said, dude, at the end of the day, we got the internet at our fingertips, man. We can get on here and learn anything we want. Like, I always go reference the issue I had with my pickup one time. And they told me it was a Cadillac converter, $1,800. Went on YouTube. I looked at one video and thought I was a, master mechanic. I looked at several videos, looked at different forums that talked about, doing this yourself or, just someone in general, the issues that they had doing, you know, doing it or actually changing it by professionals. Maybe they made a mistake and they took it to another mechanic shop and this shop said that, this was done wrong, but I got you, I made it right. So that, you know, and I just sit there and laugh at a lot of guys not taking the initiative of, you know, having the worldwide internet in their pocket. you know, to the point where the whole thing back in the day they say, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in the book. Now, I mean, I guess take it off of social media or something, because that's where a lot of men, have entered this social contract to the point where they're on social media to deem everything is true. Granted that I don't even watch the news as much, and I might see something on social media. I go check a news channel then to verify it to see what's going on. But other than that, I stopped watching the news probably right after Katrina, because to me it got too depressing, man. And you know to the issue at hand, a lot of guys, I just don't like that, man. Like always, guys in this space, if I'm on your channel and you start using the words feelings, I hit you with that Maxwell, that and some guys take offense to it. Some guys don't, some guys do. But the whole point of it is we're using facts. Even, you know, shout out to Charles Willie and Classic Ruby. I was over there, and it was funny that I actually went over to my other YouTube channel I had that I used to do a lot about trucking and telling guys to make money and do this and that. And just so happened, Char was going live, and I was like, "What?" Like I literally, subbed to another channel she had, and I guess she did a revamp or something. I was a part of it because I had it on my page, but at the end of the day, didn't sub to the new. And I thought I switched over a lot of the people I followed, because I guess when I sub the BGS or um art, that a lot of people just started coming in, and I just started subbing as it went along. So maybe I didn't just went line for line. There's a lot of people probably over my other channel I need to go back and look at as well. Take the time and do that while I'm at home. But it was so amazing, talking to women and hearing women talk, you know, that had that intellect, that know-how, versus, women trying to, push push other women in the wrong direction, and giving this whole narrative, the grass is green on the other side, you know. And when Classic Ruby was like, when she came into the space, and if you didn't have your facts together, you didn't have these guys call them talking points, but if you didn't have these points to where they actually can be checked, don't bring them up. And now, a lot of guys, they pushing narratives what other guys say, I don't want to, man, I really didn't want to, throw nobody's name out there. What's going on, Measley, man? What's going on, man? But it's like when it come down to it, a lot of guys, what's going on? DS1, man. We always here, man. That's what I be moving, man. But shout out to that brother too, man, DS1, Oh man, it's so much junk. I be trying to knock the air dudes out, because I know they be having their little ways, man. So I be trying to give them a little leeway that maybe they'll change, man. Some people just need a little correction, and some people, pull them to the side, airing them out, making them look bad. There's one thing, but you kind of let people kind of grow, man, and be a better person. What's going on, Gold P? But man, just shut up if you don't know what you're talking about. That's the whole thing. I hear guys in the space, that they don't support me because I do SYSB, or They don't, you know, guys don't want to, build with each other. Dude, come with something that men want to build with you with. Don't just start a channel and get mad because guys are not following you. Give the content. You know, first of all, you got to know what you're talking about. That's like the biggest thing that I hear a lot of guys. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And like I said, art has deemed them YouTube scholars, man. They would go to someone else's channel, find out all the information that they're talking about, and just spew it over to their. I mean, Seven Coast Dojo, man, my boys over there, they be doing it big. You know, they lace the videos, man. Have the info, dropping all facts. When they drop their information, they give a point of reference where they got all this information from. You know, fact checking where you can go out there and look for yourself if you don't believe it. Guys will sit there and take their channel, because a lot of guys ain't subbed over there like they should, and they'll just take their information, run it over to their channel, word for word. Hey, that's what happened with Drake with laughing Forte. I mean rapping Forte, man. Word for word. 901s. JB, you don't even know a dog named JB, but you word for word with this man. You know? And then when you pull up, be like, man, where you get that from? Man, it's on the internet. Hey man, I ain't gonna do the leg work for you. Go look it up yourself. Man, just shut up, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. Hey man, when we talk about black demographics, when we talk about the 51% of men that aren't married, that don't have kids, the guy might come out, man, it's 80% of dudes out here that's not married with kids. Man, we ain't going for it. Where you getting that from? Man, it, it was the guy, he talked about it on his channel. Well, did you look it up? Man, man, where do I go to find the stats for that? Well, a lot of guys in this place, we talk about black black demographics. Well, what's that? Well, it's actually a site that's based on, black people, and how they interact, and they do the stats on them and let you know that what you're saying is truthful or not. Oh, okay. So you mean there's a site that I can go on that can tell me, that, about black people and, what am I doing this and what am I doing that, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You didn't know that? Oh man, I didn't know that for real. So I could go to this site and, they tell me this and yeah, man, that's what the site's for. Uh, oh, oh dang, man. Well, appreciate it. And then once you get that involved, where knowing that where the numbers are coming from, and it to be true, you still don't go do the research, man. You're not looking. You're just over there. You want to feel happy go lucky because you putting out the information. Hey man, we over here building, man. We over here got this stuff together, man. We, as brothers, man. This is what we doing, man. This is that, and this. Like, come on, dog. Hey, the community is here, man. We here to support each other. But when it comes down to it, man, you got to do some type of leg work, man. You got to do some type of footwork. You got to be able to go in the wrong way, but you got to be able to put some, skin in the game. A lot of guys don't want to put skin in the game. You know, they just want to, make a video off of somebody else's video. They want to do a post off somebody else's post. You know, they want to share something that somebody else shared without knowing if it's truthful or not. I mean, just imagine, you know, BGS coming out and sharing a video of something crazy where a guy was, throwing some old crazy numbers out about black men doing this and doing that. And then when BGS sits there and they be like, "Hey, BGS, man, that ain't right, man. Those numbers are wrong." BGS gonna look crazy, like, "Oh man, why did he even pay attention to this guy?" You know, it's gonna knock down his credibility. To the point where a lot of guys can be looking at BGS like, "Hey, BGS, you okay? What's going on?" And not no shite to BGS, but BGS is one of the elders in the space, and when it come down to it, hey, you gotta respect or check it, man. When it comes to brothers out here, we move in a certain way. We gotta, state some type of facts, man. We can't be out here with the bull crap, man. I mean, just real talk. I have to drop my camera when I get up here. But yeah, man, we can't be with the bull crap, man. We gotta actually, lay it down, man. We gotta put in the work, you know. And shout out to the Gold P. Gold P always putting in the work. He's always, you lucky I can't read that Gold Professor, because I know you saying something shiesty, man. See, Gold Professor be always trolling me, man. Hey, brother, you know, we supposed to be brothers, man. We can't be with all this, pity pat, back and forth. I snipe you, you snipe me. Hey, see, that's what make me come at you, man. Hey, man, hey, we supposed to be brothers. But yeah, man, when it come down to, I can stop now. I got time now. See, you a back chat warrior, Gold P, man. You be always be hitting people over the head in the back chat, man. You need to cut that out, man. Hey, but at the same time, man, I hear so many guys coming out, don't know what they talking about, giving out bad information. Like I said, the little dude on Rogers channel, man. I wanna, put the guy name out there. I be trying to hold guys because he did retract a lot of stuff and he started, coming at a different little angle of it. But you know, when we push our youth, man, the younger guys up under us, man, we gotta give them a level of respect for one. You know, I got elders, that know I'm a, sensible man, have some type of respect for them, and I don't come out foul at them, in a way that they respect me for what am I doing, how am I moving, you know. But to the extent, don't get it twisted, their respect goes because they put skin in the game. A lot of guys they want to discredit people due to the fact that a lot of the elders that steered them wrong, as all of them being the worst of the worst. We can't put all of them in that same category, man. And to me, you a fool for dealing with an elder. That's a fool. My grandma always told me. She says two type of fools. There's an old fool and there's a young fool. If you're a young fool and you don't gain no type of knowledge, 9 times out of 10, you are gonna be an old fool. And it's nothing worse than an old fool. I mean, you pretty much learn nothing in life. You ain't grasped no type of concept on making yourself better. Like I said, with the knowledge of just learning how to be a man, you seek it through other men. You don't go to a woman and say, "Teach me how to be the best man I can be." No, you go to men that guide you and give you that. That's what I don't understand with a lot of men, man. Like, stand on something. You know, don't just sit here and hold on right quick. Yeah, I'm making this money, y'all. So I'm gonna be pausing a little bit. Again, pause right here. Then I'm gonna hit for an hour. I probably don't even go a whole hour with this, but then I'm gonna pause again. But yeah, when it come down to it, man, hey, what are we doing as men? You gotta hold each other accountable. Let me pause right quick. Yeah. See, Gold P, man. Hey, Gold P, man. I'm telling you, man. You come down to Atlanta, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give you that hot water infused cornbread, man. And I know you vegan. I might even throw a little. I might even throw a little carrots and and celery in there for you. He go, Professor, and he's vegan. Where's Sir at? But yeah, man. I don't understand it, man. When it comes to a lot of guys, I sit there and look at them. If you want to get married, by all means, you know, get out there and have a successful relationship. That's what I tell guys, man. Get married. What, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Not getting married. I understand if you can't find that, like they say, special someone, but just to discredit all women and be like, man, all these women the same, dog. Hey, when we get on these women about picking these so-called thugs and these six what's dang, I keep forgetting the dude name with the he had did a video with 666, 6 foot tall, six figure, what was the other shit? Over a 6 inch jawline or whatever crap, he was 6'6" something. But I'm crying laughing at that dude. I'm like, dude, stand for something, man. Come on now. What we doing? What we pushing in the community right now? Like, how are we as men out here telling the youth, hey man, you gotta be like me, man. Don't get married. I ain't get married. Look at me. Look how good my life is. And I was just on Chart Willie, man. Shout out to her. She had a young man that died, that he took his life, suicide, man. I gotta pull the guy's name, and he was in his spirit. He was pushing a lot of guys to, you know, don't have hope. Like it's not gonna work. And like I said, I always have issues with guys like that in this space, because if you're pushing the narrative that women are gonna always stay the same and it's gonna never work, tell these guys how to get a hobby. Tell these guys how to, influence their life, somewhat along the lines, the best of the ability to, be a better man, to overcome the obstacles of, if you're not gonna deal with a woman, to go ahead and say, well, I'm not dealing with these women. So let me find something to occupy my time. I've always said if I was in that situation, I would just, go get a hobby of fixing on cars. I would start some type of woodwork to the point where I'd be a craftsman, you know, and that's the issue. Go get a dog. Hey, it's kind of pushed in this space is funny about getting a dog and die alone, but that companionship, if you want it, there it is. Getting animals, having something that you have to take care of. Put a little, as go professors say, time and energy. Into that animal, a cat or something like that. To where you might say, oh man, pets are loyal, man. To a degree, you treat your pet right, that pet is gonna be loyal. So you ain't gonna have those issues. And a lot of guys, like I said, it's a bad thing for you to push this whole narrative that women are never gonna be this, and ultimately just go jump off the bridge. Nah, I don't like that, man. I'm never gonna push any man, like my whole narrative on my channel is to show men that it's okay to get married. It's okay to be in a relationship. And if it doesn't work, And you can't just say you can't, dude. Be at peace with yourself. You know, men have to get to a point of not trying to feel like they're whole by getting in a relationship with a woman. You know, you was born in this world alone, even if you were born with a twin. You came out, they came out. No twins being snatched out at the same time. You know, even if you do a C-section, there's not two doctors in there snatching the babies out at the same time. One was born first, the other one was born next. That's how the order of things. So for a man to sit here and even if you glorify that you're going to be a MGTOW and the situation, it is what it is, don't push other men in the narrative of not getting married. Don't push other men in the narrative that your life will be better just being single at a young age. You've had a chance to experience the relationships and it didn't work. Why are you forcing a young man? When I hear guys 19 and in their early 20s talking about they're going MGTOW, why? You haven't experienced anything. You haven't experienced pitfalls and being in a relationship to see that these women are what the other guys are talking about. You might end up finding a diamond in the rough. A lot of guys always complain with this whole unicorn talk. And some men get lucky and get a unicorn. Other men don't. But the point of it is, you will never know if you don't try. Most men in that situation, if you don't put yourself in a situation to win, you're not even playing the game. That's like the lottery, for instance. A lot of guys will never hit the lottery if they don't play it. Shout out to Brother Bakar, man. What's going on, man? A lot of guys will never hit the lottery if they don't play the lottery. That's the thing with relationship. You can't say that the relationships out here for the men are all bad if you never attempted to be in a relationship. You know, and the whole thing that kills me is you got to establish, you know, a relationship with a woman, first of all, by bringing something to the table. A man that wants a woman to be submissive, to follow you, to be up under your, you know, rulership, all these funny, it kills me with a lot of guys pushing these narratives to say, well, a partner this and all these women want partners and all these women this and all these women that and submission is this, submission. No, actions speak louder than words. Don't you know half of the women look at uh submission as the worst word in the dictionary? Majority of them. Oh, I'll never be submissive to a man. A man will never rule over me, but then they'll come home, cook for you, clean for you. They'll do the most to kind of help that relationship. But as it stands, a lot of women they look at that word as something bad. But you know, like I say, they don't know. They thinking submissive is, the whole thing. When you hear a lot of women talk about submission, they always talking about being barefoot, pregnant and barefoot, and just catering to you hand and foot. But the whole point, that same woman, you don't even use or even using the word submission. You right there with them, you come home, they cook you a hot meal. You know, they baby, you good. They doing this for you. They doing that for you. That that's the submission that you're looking for. But the whole thing is they're looking at it as, oh man, I got to, worship this man. I don't worship no man. But that's what you really want from the submission. Is to have that woman, like I say, be understanding. Don't argue with me. Don't we don't have these situations to where we're going back and forth. We're at peace with each other, and that's why I told you when it comes to me, I'm always gonna be in the preference of men building families and relationship. You know, because my whole thing is I've always said to go where you're happy. You know, I've never been this whole narrative to push the SYSB to save yourself. I can understand that, you know, because you're saving yourself from the situation at hand. A lot of guys taking this whole SYSB thing is to go and getting a woman overseas. And I'm like, okay, the whole term is save yourself, black man, to the point of don't get caught, in the booby trap. Move a little different. That's why I always push this whole narrative that it's easy to find a wife. I get pushback from a lot of guys, but when I break it down and say it's easy to find a wife because you have men in this space telling you how a woman should be, how that woman should move. And a lot of guys who don't listen to that, they 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 don't understand that, you're ultimately dealing with a woman on her terms. And a lot of guys, they say that. I mean, when I tell them that if you like it, I love it. He put himself in that situation, so I'm happy for him because he didn't take heed to the warnings for this woman not cooking every time you're around. That's the way to a man's heart. A lot of women don't know that. Cooking a good meal, putting a man to sleep by just, eating some good food, making him just feel good about himself. That's the biggest rule of thumb. Black Uru was talking about, man, if a woman couldn't cook, like what do we do? What type of relationship would we have? First of all, you know, going into the cleaning and everything else of aspect, but the whole point, if you're not cooking, oh man, like how can we establish any type of relationship if you're not cooking? Then we're gonna hit the whole narrative of cleaning to the point where the woman has to be able to, do the dishes, sweep the floor, basic necessity stuff. Basic. This is generally basic, man. Everybody knows how to do some form of cooking. I mean, some form of cleaning, and I can grant them that. Most people can do some form of cleaning, but to the extent to where you don't even know how to wash dishes. I mean, properly is one thing, but just don't know how to wipe food off a plate. You know, what were you doing when you were young? Like, how did your parents raise you? You know, to my kids when they grew up, I've always got on them so bad about washing dishes the right way because that's how I was taught. If you're gonna use the dishwasher and you're lazy, soak your dishes. Soak your dishes. I made my kids, we had dishwashers. Every time I moved into a place, we've always had dishwashers. You know what happened? My kids always wash by hand. Because like I told them, point blank period. If you can't wash dishes by hand without using that dishwasher, this new modern technology where you coming into people's house, you getting a fork out the drawer and it's got rice stuck between the fork. you know, you getting a cup, it's all smeared and it has, some juice, red juice in the cup because it didn't wash properly in the dishwasher. There's flaws in that. It's not gonna hit everything off the plate. It's not rinsing that cup out properly. That's the whole point of pre-wash. A lot of people just think this dishwasher is a miracle. That's within the first, you know. And I'm kind of pushing back off the topic, man. But just first key steps in being able how to do something. That's the biggest thing, And I'm gonna kind of push back up to my topic though, man. Just and I'm dealing with the brothers on this one to shut up, man. If you don't know what you're talking about, you know, a lot of guys like I kind of push in this space because they want that woman, that one special woman. If you get that woman, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna lead her? You can't say, man, I got a job and I pay the bills. Every man can have a job and pay bills. No. What is your plan for the future? You know, if a bill comes up, you don't have the money. What's the next step in paying that bill? You know, well, I'll borrow the money. What if you can't borrow the money? Then what? What assets do you have? Is this some type of asset where you can pawn or put a title on? Regardless on doing that, you don't want to do that, but can you do it? You know, you bringing something to the table with a woman. You guys start want to be in a relationship. She has her place. You stay at your mom's. What are you doing to get out your mom's house if you're gonna stay with her or not stay with her? Do you have any money saved up to the point where you're expecting to move out, or you were just sitting there because you didn't have to pay rent and it's cheap? That's the thing that I try to tell a lot of guys, man. Stand on something, man. Just as if you don't want a woman that's this whole narrative of with the weave and all, that's her hair. What you worrying about her hair for? You know, the key thing is you want your woman looking good. If she's short head bald and she wants to wear a wig and all this stuff, you know, that's when you have those talks with her about dressing a certain way, looking a certain way, being a certain way before you start dealing with her. Because ultimately, when I hear guys complain about women and certain things the way they look, if you're not dealing with these women, why are you worrying about them? You know, if I'm out here not checking for a girl that runs around with a natural, why do I gotta talk about them? If I'm not dealing with these women with all these weaves and all this stuff, why am I talking about them? Let's move on to something else. Because in the end, if we can push uh that out, what else are we gonna talk about? Because once we kill all these small narratives, what can you say? Don't be a get along, don't talk just to get along with people. Hey, come with some facts, you know, personal stance. Don't sit here and listen to another man and take on, his issues and, his views as your own. If to an extent, if that man is telling you something right, by all means, take it into consideration. But don't approach someone as God, you know, and for the most part too, I crack jokes about some guys who follow men in the space as YouTube daddies and everything. To me it's funny because you're praising another man in which you should be gaining the knowledge from this man and ultimately, having a status to where you guys are eye to eye with each other, you know. And you don't have to be financially. A lot of guys look at, well, this man has this money. I want to have this type of money to be established as well. Why? Every man is not the same. We're all not built the same. We're different. You got guys that, took the risk, made well with investments. You got guys that, kind of played it safe and they're doing okay. Every man is not the same, man. You know, and that's the whole point that I always push in this space. Where's the knowledge? I always talk about life insurance. Every single time I talk about life insurance, Alonzo Hall, planning for the future, man. You getting your kids a step up in life by putting money aside. Even if you don't got kids, that's the crazy part, man. You don't want to put some money aside for the kids to. I'm sorry, but even if you don't got kids, you don't want to put money aside for your nieces and nephews. You don't want to, kind of establish something for them. You know, you got to push the next generation forward. And I've always looked at this and said it when it came down to a lot of guys, don't be selfish, man. You know, if you don't have kids, help out that next young man. You know, if you know a little young man in the neighborhood, kind of, bad or something, or kind of messed up in his ways, take him up under your wing. If you can't, by all means, cool. You tried. And that's the biggest thing. A lot of men, we push the narrative of men should be a certain way. But who's actually helping these men be that way? Shout out to the brother Kane. Kane the guy, man. His son went into the military. And it was to the point where, he granted his son an opportunity. He was moving around doing this thing out here. It's not like his son a bad kid or anything, but ultimately he looked at his son on having some type of structure and going into the military. Even if a guy doesn't even take that approach, still, if he gets a job and put himself in a different situation to where he's standing on his own 2 feet, because at the end of the day, the same way that fathers look at their daughters, you know, about kind of being established to the point where you have some type of grounds when you go to college to make some of yourself, even if you can't find a man. Because let's be honest, a lot of women, they ain't gonna be able to find a man. And for the brothers that are here, you got to move within that same light. You might not even be able to find a woman. And for you to be out here moving around living foul, dog, that talks about you heavy. And I say heavy, I mean heavy. Getting some type of knowledge, man, understanding what you're doing, understanding how you move, not getting caught up in these situations. Come on, man. We got to do better as men, not pushing these whole false narratives. The point of it is, man, I'm out here. Nah, man. Get some knowledge, man. Understand what you're talking about, who you're talking about, and what you're doing. You know, and that's like the biggest thing that kills me when it comes to a lot of guys, man. Oh shoot, I got my badge. Yeah, it kills me about a lot of guys. Get some understanding on life, man. Don't just be out here on YouTube, just living your life that think everything is so fine. Might have to get over. Yep. Have some type of purpose, man. And let me slide over for a minute. I mean, that's it's like the biggest reason why I did this stream, man, because I'm tired of seeing these guys in this space. We all push this whole echo chamber out to where, like I say, we get into our feelings, and it's crazy, man. Stop with all this. As men, we got to get back to, building with one another with these facts, you know, shaming men that are out here with the bull crap. Nah, dog, that ain't right. I'm not going for that. And ultimately, pushing each other to say, man, look, we're working this way. We're being this way. Come on, dog. Come over here. You don't know what you're talking about, but I'm finna help you out. You know, you you over here listen to these guys, even though it be true, man. You go, let's go over there for the knowledge. Eat the meat, uh, leave the bone. That's the big thing to do. Hold on, real quick. Yeah, so that's my thing, man. Let's kind of push these guys and give them the knowledge, man, because at the end of the day, it's kind of scary, man, to where my brother, I was talking to him just this morning, and we was having a conversation to the point that a lot of these young guys, even last night, the same way. What's going on, William? A lot of these young guys, man, like they don't know nothing, but they know everything. You don't hear me when I say it. They don't know nothing, but they know everything. That's like my son. I actually have my son in tutoring. My son is a real confident guy, man.
Real confident guy. He wants to know everything. He wants to feel like he got the answer to everything. The whole thing is he's so eager to do things. And I tell him, slow down, take your time, learn. Don't be so quick to jump the gun, you know. And this is a 10-year old man. You got guys out here don't even want to try it. This 10-year old man, if he don't get it right, he trying to make it right. He's going out here trial and error all the time. I'm like, dude, ask before you do it. Okay. But his whole thing is he's so eager to do stuff on his own. He's so eager to, move around. What's going on? I'm listening, man. He's so eager to just move. And that's what I be telling him. Hey man, slow down, take your time. Let me show you this. I'm showing him how to do his bike, change his tires and stuff. I learned that from my older brother, man. I actually learned it at a younger age. My brother was teaching me that stuff at like 5 and 6 years old, how to, put my chain back on. And I was telling my son, come here. I was like, your brother didn't show, because their older brother showed them little things and stuff like that. Because, I mean, be honest, I'm working a lot. So, a lot of times the things that they're knowing, either I showed them or my oldest son showed them. And it's to the extent, they're grasping concepts and, moving within a certain way to kind of, better themselves. And so, my thing is, like I tell guys, man, if you don't know what you're talking about, man, just shut up. Learn this knowledge, man. Kind of get involved. It's one thing to be over in these spaces to where you're pretty much learning about new stuff that you don't know, and then whether it be new stuff or not, to actually learn how to, present these things. Because the whole thing is when you're going around in these spaces, you're gonna be tested. Like I've told guys on several panels, I'm like, the women who come over with the nonsense, the first thing they do is kind of go after the person that is, not well informed on any topic. She goes on a hunt prowl. Any man that says something to her within a certain manner in which she knows he know what he's talking about, she's not going to talk to him. She's going to talk to the man that ultimately says something stupid or says something out of the way. And just like I said, if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up, because 9 times out of 10, they, the women are like bloodhounds. If they coming over there to kind of disrupt, they're like bloodhounds. They're gonna seek the weakling, you know. And she's wishing that the men throw him to the wolves so she can tear him up limb for limb. That's the whole aspect of it is, man. When it comes down to knowledge, if you're in a cipher, man, with a group of guys, they're gonna tear you to shreds. Back in the day, they used to have that point to where if you didn't know what you was talking about, they'd tell you, man, go on, get out, get away from around here, man. Don't be talking that. Hey, man, that's fake. That ain't right. That's wrong. That whole shaming tactic. It needs to come back to the form of, guys got to stand on their square by knowing what they talking about. Not just pushing narratives, man. Doing the homework. Like I said, black demographics. If you're gonna say something about black women because you're trying to prove a point, at least have a reference point. Don't say because BGS said it. Don't say because Angry Man. Don't say O'Shea. All the big names in the space. Don't say that without saying they said it. But if you go to this site, I looked over here and found this. You know, do a little work. To maybe they might say a wrong stat. They might say, the stats, because I've always gotten confused on the marriage stats about I think it was like 36 to 38% rounded. I know it's within the 30 frame of men being married with kids. You know, when it come down to it, I don't know for a fact, definitely because I seen it. 51% of the men, it gets skewed because I know it was at 52, I think percent one point, and now it's at 51. But the whole thing is to stay on top of it. Have the numbers, give the information. something that can't be changed without stats. I mean, the stats are the numbers that they generate from the people. You know, 1 plus 1 is 2 all day. That's a fact. It won't be changed. Unless somebody comes down here and change our whole language and numbers and letters. That's a fact all day. Men have to start sticking to these facts and principles, man. Like I said, that's why I came up with that Maxwell, that don't use feelings. I've heard so many men. I heard a man once on a panel. He tried to clown BGS and some other guys because what they were talking about with the child support situation. And when they started laying down the facts, giving them the information, and guys talking about changing the laws, after it was all said and done, he was like, man, I'm already in the system, so I just get in my feelings when I hear guys talking about, child support and this and that. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. That's an issue. You have a problem with it because you're dealing with it now. But don't get emotional about it, man. Like I say, if a guy has an issue with child support and you have one child, by all means, man, pay your child support, do what you need to do, seek your lawyer's advice to, make your situation better. But if you have 5, 6, 7 kids and you haven't learned your lesson, I mean, just even with 3 kids, man, you haven't learned your lesson. If you wasn't in a marriage and all 3 of those kids are from the same woman, come on, man, you're gonna blame somebody else. That men need to hurry up and pass a bill so this child support thing won't get out of control. You was reckless. The same category that most men put those female in, they're within that category as well. So when we start talking about the reckless woman out here, it's a fact that you're out here reckless a lot of stuff as well. Like I said, man, I'm out here making the money. Had a little conversation with the guy. But yeah, man, I mean, it's crazy, man. When it come down to it, come on, man. And when a guy gets and a lot of guys, like I was talking with a guy the other day, and we was talking about that whole aha moment to where, you get a guy caught up and he feels, backed into a corner where he hurry up and jumps off the panel. Well, I don't have to take this, start, oh, I'll talk to you guys later. No, no. Come on, man. Yeah, can you hear my sound now? Yeah, I muted for a minute. You should be able to hear me now. But yeah, I mean it's crazy though, man. I be sitting here dealing with so many guys in this space, and I kind of give them some type of reference points to say, man, just don't do that, man. Just don't. Why would you put yourself in that situation in the first place? To the point where you're trying to get on somebody else. And once they pretty much figure out the craziness that you're doing, you don't want to get backed in the corner, but the whole thing is to back someone else in the corner to make them look stupid, you know. And it's a lot of men that push to be right, even though they're not. There's a lot of men that push to, you know, be with the crew and, be down. Stop, you know. Like the conversation we were having on Kevin's channel, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. The situation of a man, growing up a rough environment, which they call the hood or the ghetto, you pick and choose. It's just a rough area, you didn't have the best everything was limited to the point in which you say, man, you living that life, you want to have your kids live that same struggle life because it made you a better man. No, that situation made you a better man at that given point in time. Why would you wish the same results on your kids that you got on yourself? The whole premise as a man is to make your kids' life better. You know, I've never heard, I mean, I've heard men that say, man, I want my child to, follow my footsteps, something stupid as, selling drugs or, being a dude on the block or something like that. But they was no knowledge, man. They was taught this and they being that they think this is the way to go, the way of life. So of course they're going to teach it to their kids. But to have an understanding, what you're doing and where you're coming from, you're not pushing that narrative to your kids. I've known drug dealers to say, I'm not letting my son get caught up in this. They've moved out the neighborhoods. They put their kids either in private schools or great areas to the point where they had a fighting chance to maybe one day their son might be representing them on a case. You know, it might be one day that their son might be actually performing surgery on them, to a situation. I knew a dude, his dad was in and out the streets. He was a hustling dude, and this guy became a doctor. And I was talking to the guy. He was like, "Yeah, man, my pops worked hard. He was out there slanging and banging back in the day, but once he got out the street and started trying to make an honest living, by then I was, got into my college years. He still wanted me to, pursue my dreams, and even though we didn't have the money, he pretty much pushed me and told me that I had no choice. I had to finish, even though he didn't have the money because he wasn't making that same money. He did what it took by any means to make me graduate because he knew my life and his life was going to be better. He put me in a position like this. And man, the guy, his dad was old, man. When I say old, the guy was barely getting around, slow walking, smoked and drank all his life. So, he kind of, just moving a certain way. And he was like, man, I'm taking care of my pops to the day he died, man. Whether my wife like it or not, man, he got to stay with us. He ain't got no other family. I'm his family. He ain't got no other choice. You know, he did all this for me. He really didn't talk about his mom as much, but the whole emphasis that he put on his dad, that man, he gave so much for him, you know, and that's my whole premise, man. To this guy put up so much for his son to be successful, to where he wanted a better life for him, you know. And going back to the topic, shut up, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, why would you want that for your kids? Like, man, just shut up. You want your kids to struggle? You want to be that man to say, I took my son out the ghetto and this and that. Yeah, that's cool. But if you didn't have to be there and you just left him there, come on, man. Be better than that, man. I tell guys, man, when it comes to my kids, man, I'll work an extra job. I'll do extra things in order for my kids to be successful because they're the next generation, man. A lot of guys don't focus on this generational wealth, man. I have life insurance set up for my kids. I had a conversation with a guy on the panel where he was complaining about if he dealt with a woman with kids that he will ultimately have to leave something for that woman's kid. I said, first of all, if you're dealing with that woman, that's that's not the issue. You know, it's a choice you have to make because they do have a father. But ultimately, you have to have that conversation with her to say, I'm not leaving nothing for your kids or I'm leaving something for our kids because that's the problem. Whether be you leave something for them or not, you don't have to give them the same that you give your kids. And that's what I be, just not understanding what a lot of men, taking on that responsibility of a baby mama. Yes, guys look at it as a burden. They're looking at it as an extra mouth to feed. But the whole thing is this: you knew that when you first came into the relationship, that this woman got a kid, and eventually you're gonna have to foot some of the bill. And for all the men, oh man, it's a burden. Oh man, it's a headache. Why are you checking for them? That's like my whole thing. When men complain about these women, but yet if you're not trying to deal with that woman, why are we even having this conversation about them? Stand on your truth, dog. The whole thing is seeking the knowledge. I've always said in this space, I've came here for the knowledge. I've came here for the knowledge. What's going on, Winston? What's going on, Ricky? I've came here for the knowledge. I was on another Erica Williams. She told me about BGS and Anger Man. I would always hear her talk about BGS, about finances, and breaking down this whole pill thing. I'm like, pill. I still don't recognize this myself as being a manosphere guy, because my whole thing is I'm giving the knowledge. And if you want to put me in the categories of a manosphere guy, by all means, cool. But if not, ain't no sweat off my back. A lot of guys getting so much depth on trying to, be a part of the in crowd, hang with the guys that's, sticking and moving. We're a crew. We're a crew of what? We're a crew of guys that's what? Bashing. We're a crew of guys that's giving knowledge. We're a crew of guys that's helping the next generation. What are we a crew of? What is our purpose? What is the mission statement to our organization? You know, because we talk about Black Lives Matter and kind of where they're moving and how they moving. Where is our mission statement? Because like I always say, women have a code. Where's the code for the men? You know, when are we gonna have this code to where we start saying, hey, like the Roger report, he says it. Men need to make 100,000. That's the standard. If you don't make it, you're trying to make it. That is the standard. All men need to make 100,000. And you're not doing it for the women. I heard a guy once on the channel. He said, "Man, I make $100,000 and these women still ain't checking for me." And I asked him, I said, "So were you doing it for the women or were you doing it for yourself?" Once again, that aha moment where he paused and just didn't say nothing. And I'm like, dude, because if you're doing it for the women, you already lost. To make that 100,000, man, that's a great thing for a man to do. But the point of it is, you making that 100,000 for yourself. I always hear guys clown certain guys when they, you know, dress a certain way. You know, kind of wear these nice clothes, nice watches, and jewelry and stuff like that. But it's to the point where I laugh at that scenario, these situations, because I'm like, when it boils down to it, I can't look good. I can't dress this way. The whole point of most guys who buy those sports cars, it's not for the women to flash. It's because this dude want to go fast. Ricky Bobby, man. Hey, shout out to Ricky Williams, man. Check out the guy channel about boxing and stuff. But Ricky Bobby, man, he want to go fast. You know, it's not to put a woman in the light to say, baby, you know, it's a plus to have that car where you can say, check out my whip. But the whole point, you want to go fast. You know, my thing when I go put on a suit, I'm not putting on a suit to say, man, I want all the women. It's a plus to put on that suit to say these women are flocking to me. But the whole thing to put on the suit to say, man, I look good, man. I'm going to be killing them. You know, my homeboys, he about to have a party, man. He about to have a party, and it's funny. He came at me and say, man, you can't, you got to dress a certain way when you come to the party. And I laughed at the dude because he always talked about, how good I dressed back in the day, the way I either wear my street clothes to the point where I was getting on my homeboys when I turned about 30, I say about 30, 32. I think about 31, 32, somewhere around in there. I know it was when I got past my 30s. I started wearing more collar shirts. I started wearing more khakis, you know. And they was like, man, you dress like an old man. They used to laugh at me and talk junk, and it to the extent a lot of people started noticing the way I move to the point where my homeboy started a business and he found himself in a situation where one time we was out, him and the other guy had on wife beaters. I had on my collar shirt, my khaki shorts, nice little hat on. I always keep my Atlanta caps all the time. If I'm out and about, I just started back up my hat collection. But it was crazy that a elder lady had failed and he has a, care business. So we went to go help the lady up. I mean, it was crazy. Probably two people walked past the lady, and we was like, "Wow!" So we ran over there, helped the lady up. Picked the cane, the little walker up, and everything. And she was like, "Man, I missed the curve. I can't believe it." And so, we helped her walk over to a bench, set her down, and everything's okay, and this and that. And as we walking away, one of the dudes that passed the lady came over to us and was like, "Man, you young men, you're some great guys." And we was like, "Yeah, we just did it just to be doing it." I mean, I'm just gonna say we was in a nice area, us young men. So you can get the drift of that. Not trying to throw that out there too serious, but it was to the point where my homeboy, he was like, "Hey man, go give her my card." And I started laughing. I said, "You go give it to her." And he's like, "Man, I'm dressed." And he looked at his shirt, looked at me. He was like, "Yeah, you got me. You got me." I said, "Man, go on and give me the card." So I got the card, took it to the lady. She was like, "Thank you. I'm gonna try to reach out to you guys because, she's like, my kids don't come around." I talked for a minute. She's like, "Yeah, my kids don't come around as much. I do for myself and it gets kind of rough." I said, "Yeah, you have this service to where, someone to come out to you, check on you, maybe and sit with you, depending on, the rate in which you want to deal with the person." I'm just going off of self knowledge because I've seen personal care on how they move. So I wasn't out there just lying to the lady, be like, "Yeah, somebody come out here and they'll cook you a 5-star meal. They'll take you and drive you all the way to Tampa to go to, I mean, to go to like Cherokee to the casino and drive you back." That wasn't something I was just talking about. It was something that I knew dealing with personal care people. So I pretty much just advanced the knowledge that I knew. I wasn't lying. And she took my advice, gave him a call, and they worked something out. But the point of it was that day, my homeboy changed his wardrobe up, went home, took all his, nice polo shirts, just gave them all away. Gave them to his cousins, went and got nice, fitted shirts because, back in the day, young guys, you wore the big shirts. It was cool. That was the style. But when you get older, how does that style fit your way of life? And that's what I was basically pushing to him to the point where he was like, yeah, man. I'm gonna switch it up, man. I'm gonna switch it up." And I'm like, "Hey, that's what you gotta do. We getting older, man. We can't be, I mean, we can be out here dressing, fly in the street gear, but if we a men that trying to put some type of business behind us, you gotta dress the part. You know, you can't be out here yelling, "Man, I'm, I'm a kingpin, and I'm big in these streets." But you're 9 to 5, you work at McDonald's, but you trying to push this whole drug dealer mentality. Hey, you're a little bit older, man. Let's get out of that. If you're working at McDonald's, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Move up, be a manager. You know, if you get that established to that paycheck, let's move up to another job. Let's pay more money. That's why I always try to encourage guys to drive trucks. A lot of guys, non-CDL jobs, box trucks. All you doing is picking up loads, dropping them off. I tell guys, if you want to learn how to drive a box truck, go rent a U-Haul. Measure your distance on your sight of looking out. They got this term for truck drivers. Go get out and look, to the point where if you're too close or you're not, you don't have no depth perception, get out and look. Go out there and look and make sure you don't hit nothing. That's the key, you know. And like I said, get back to the whole knowledge thing. You know, as men, we got to start pushing other men to seek some type of knowledge, man. That's why I keep pushing. I'm hammering on the guys in this space. Alonzo Hall does life insurance. Even if you don't buy a policy from the man, even if you don't even, just take that step in getting knowledge is the key. He's laying down this whole law. My thing of it was I felt life insurance was a death insurance. Life insurance just what it is. Life, you know, whole life's a key because you can borrow money off that. Within about I think I got 5 more years to where I got enough in there to where I can start borrowing off. I want to go put a loan. I want to go put a down payment on a car, put a down payment on another house. There you go. Because my goal is for the men that don't know, I got 4 kids. So guess what I'm doing? I'm trying to get 4 houses before I die. That's my goal that I put for myself to do. I'm on my first one. I'm looking at getting my second one and renting this one out. I got a homeboy. He's already in the process of pretty much did it already. His funds are a little bit, more than mine. And he's already have his four houses. He already have his 4 houses. And he has 2 kids. Each kid, 2 houses apiece. And, you know, he's on looking at getting another house. To the point that's gonna be the house him and his wife stay in. And there you go. I mean, he's to the point now where he wants to build a house in the islands. And I'm like, dude, every time, and me and him around the same age, and it's not a whole thing of he's doing better than me, and I'm looking. No, my thing is I'm looking at a man that's around my age doing the stuff that I want to do. You know what my whole thing is? I'm not looking at him in bad anyway. I'm letting myself know I got to step my game up. You know, I got to move different. And the key thing is I got to make more money. You know, people who do better in life, don't get mad at them for, making different choices that you didn't make. Get to the level. You know, I got a partner, I be talking about stocks and stuff. I tell him, hey man, come on, come learn this. Man, I don't want to do this, man. No, come on, let's do it. I'm pushing him forward with me. My son, I push him in a lot of stuff. Get him, hey, come look at this, come do this. I don't know about that. Yeah, come do it. No, you ain't got a choice. You know, get yourself together, man. Let's get over here and let's do this. You know, have him change his mindset. A lot of people they get stuck, complacent. They get stuck in that mentality due to the fact that no one's there to push them. You know, if you're pushing people, they got 2 choices: either do or don't. The more you push, they're gonna get tired of you, and to the extent to where if my forcing hasn't, implemented some type of, discipline for you to do something, hey, I've done my job. I try to bring you along with me. If you don't want to come, then so be it. You know, shout out to Gold P, the 9 laws of self-government. Go check out Gold Professor's channel, man. The Gold Professor. Gold Professor Radio. He's vegan. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this, man. But the basis of all this, man, I just want to push this to tell these dudes stop lying, man. Do the research, man. Get some knowledge. Be somebody. That whole I am somebody is because they knew who they were. A lot of guys out here moving, funny and don't even know who they are, know what they're doing, knowing how to deal with certain things. Stop trying to just get along with the crew, man. When I see guys come into space, I don't really push them as much because the point of it is they're here so they learn it. Same thing with the females. And I tell guys, when females come around in this space, put your sword down. You know, for one thing, most female that's coming up there that's trying to get some type of understanding, if you cutting them down, what you think's going? Man, I've been on one female's channel, and I haven't found her channel again when I started my new page. Like I said, I got to go back. This female, she was like, "Man, I was over there in the Black Manosphere with those guys, and I came up to ask some questions. I said something that somebody else said to me. The whole point of being shut up." And she said, "Man, they went off me so hard and this and that, and they called me all kind of names, and all I wanted to do was get an understanding." Oh, and yeah, it's about that time, man. My boy, he about to get ready to get on. Oh, he's actually live now. Absalom and Pianka. Absalom is live, and I'm gonna go on over there to Absalom, man. And shout out to the people that came through, man. I appreciate it. You know, like I say, we here to build the knowledge. We here to support the youth. We here to put ourselves in a situation to win, and we are here to enhance the next generation. You gotta understand, man. Generational wealth is key. Life insurance, man. I'm gonna keep pushing, knocking people over the head with it. There's other forms of generational wealth, man. Buying land, sitting on that land. People who bought land back in the day, and now these communities are getting gentrified. These houses that people had back in the day, and now the community people are moving back into the city. You know, you got to run it. And as it stand, man, I just threw my cash up. But matter of fact, I don't even want to put that up there, man, because at the end of the day, man, we here, man. That's all to stand. The knowledge, you know, understanding. We here, man. That's what I want to push. And with that being said, with everything, man, we're gonna go ahead and push out. And like I said to everybody, man, generational wealth. Let's build the next generation. You know, let's push them. Let's push that next generation. Let's get these younger kids involved and move in a certain way. Let's get these younger gentlemen, you know, to where we won't have to shame them for not knowing. Like I say, I know older guys, I know young guys, and I tell them all the time, man, it's not an excuse right now. We're in the modern age of technology. If we don't know something, it ain't like back in the day where we had to go to the elders for the knowledge. There's some elders that don't know, and we have to show them. How many old people don't even know how to deal with social media, or even more or less, use a newer version of a phone. So as it stand, man, we got to start pushing each other in the right direction. We got to start helping each other. Stop pushing these false narratives, man. Giving each other bad information. You know, taking on to make these young men look foolish. You know, if my son wants to buy a house, man, I'm doing everything in my power to get him that generational wealth. I'm doing everything in my power to kind of push him in the right way. Now it's up to him if he want to listen and gain that knowledge. But the whole point of it is, man, we here to help. That's my whole thing of me pushing. We here. We are here, man. Hold on, man. Before we get out of here, please, I gotta do something because I've always seen you over on Brother Bakar's channel. So there we go. You know, shout out to you. And yeah, Brother Bakar. There we go. You know, these men here, man, we here to push. We here to push. Go ahead. You know, you put your channel in. I just made your mod and other people. You know, if you want. Oh, go Professor. He's always I have myself on mute, but he's always been the guy to put himself out there to give each other the knowledge. I just modded you up, but Go Professor's a great cat, man. And every morning on his channel, he always 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 I think Pacific, where he goes live, and he talks to where he deals with every channel on building because from his channel aspect, he deals with nothing but the black man, and pushing the narrative out of the way that focus on the negative and bringing the positive out for our community. So I always give shouts to Gold P, man. DS1, good brother, underrated. Ricky, that's how I ran through Ricky Williams through Underrated Darkness. You know, same thing with Brother Bakar. I met you over there, Brother Bakar. Wig, and what's the other guy, Winston? You were over there too, I believe. When it comes down to it, man, I'm listening. Gold P, you know, hey, Measly Meat, Gold P, you know, a lot of guys, we over here, man, we moving, man, putting channels up, get guys together, build with each other, you know. That's the thing that I want to push out because if you're giving the content in which people are learning, getting an understanding, knowledge of self, man, that's what I'm all for. Guys, build. I mean, because we got so many men that are tearing each other down. Like, when are we gonna start breaking down this whole thing of the community being real? That's my biggest thing, man. I want the community to be real, man. I want the community to be real. I want the community to be real. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this, man. I might even do another one later on because, like I said, I was talking to my brother, man, and just guys not even knowing the knowledge, even from last night, dealing with Char Willie, man. Just ask Char, all one word. Just ask Char, CHAR. Just ask Char, all one word. You know, and when it come down to it, man, we got to get an understanding. You know, we got to be here to get the next generation, to the point where they know something. They really do know something, you know. And as it stand, man, as DS1 I always say, we are our own agency, man. We got to be there for each other. And with that being said, I got to push it to you. We gone.